I'm drawing a blank.
Hello, my friends. I'm here to talk about the September 2025 Nintendo Direct. As always, I will go over my overall thoughts at the end, but I am going to start by saying it was a weird Direct. You know, like sometimes we get like just a bunch of clean, simple announcements, generate like a lot of hype. It's just perfect. And then sometimes we get these oddballs, you know, that just kind of throw us for a loop. This was one of those, and sometimes oddball directs are good, but personally, it felt like there were just a lot of catches, you know, like a lot of really cool stuff, but there was always like this little catch. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to try to go through the highlights pretty quickly so we can get to that big discussion at the end. The presentation started with the Mario 40th anniversary stuff, and there was a pretty good little chunk here. I mean, it was probably the most like consistently good part of the Direct. A lot of people were saying that it should have been like its own separate presentation. But like, no, I say it was perfect here because the rest of the Direct kind of needed it, you know, like it kind of lifted the whole thing up. So the first major announcement was the name of the next Mario movie, the Super Mario Galaxy movie. You bet your bippy that's gonna get its own video. But that was cool. It was a cool way to like start. We even got like a little animated like teaser thing to go with it. I thought that was cool. Then a solid anniversary flavored re-release reveal, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Which are apparently going to be sold separately and as well as together in a pack. Gonna talk about the pricing and all that later. So that's cool. I mean, obviously that's great. We finally get to play Galaxy 2 on Switch. That's cool. They also revealed some really cool looking amiibo. Those are cool amiibo. The Rosalina one, her like reading the book with the Lumas. I think I might have to get that one. It is weird though. It's releasing 6 months later. Is that weird? They're re-releasing Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and then you gotta wait 6 months for the release of the amiibo. I don't know. I guess maybe they'll tie in with the movie, if the movie is Galaxy as well. So I don't know, whatever. And then Koizumi came on. It was really cool to see Koizumi again. I don't even know the last time he hosted a Nintendo Direct, so it was really neat to see him. And it was really funny because, you know, the whole story with like Miyamoto is trying to make Galaxy, and Koizumi wants to put the storybook in, and Miyamoto doesn't want it, so he has to like sneak it in. So then he's like, here's Koizumi to talk about that storybook thing that I hate. Like he handed it over to him, and then he specifically talked about the storybook. It was cool to see him though. And then the surprise announcement that they're putting the storybook in both games, which is really weird. I mean, like, it was a bummer that Galaxy 2 didn't have anything like it, but like I never imagined that they would just put the whole thing into it. And they're adding new pages. So that's really interesting. And then they're also creating a physical book of the storybook. That's really cool. That's going to be an amazing collector's item. So then they had even more games to reveal in celebration of the anniversary. We had Mario Tennis Fever. I've gone back and forth on if I want to talk about this in a whole video. I don't want it to just sound like I'm complaining the whole time, because it like, I don't know. It looks kind of cool, and the story mode looks like it could be cool, but it also kind of just looks like a whatever game. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about it later. A new tennis game. Okay, sure. Yeah, that's a game. That's a game that people will buy. People like Mario Tennis. And then I totally called it, but it did feel obvious. They revealed Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition. And this is another thing I will definitely be talking about elsewhere, but it was one of those little catches where it's like, here's extra content for Mario Wonder. It's all multiplayer. It's all like multiplayer stuff. But they said that they would reveal more later, so there's probably going to be some single player stuff too. It was just, I don't know. It was kind of funny. And they revealed the talking flower statue. Because why not, I guess? It seems kind of cool. I like the talking flower. He mentions that they talk on their own sometimes. That's kind of a deal breaker, though. I don't actually. Is there an off switch? I don't know if I actually like that. And then a reveal of a brand new Yoshi game. Definitely going to get a whole video. I want to really take a hard look at the trailer and go over all of that. But it was funny. The June 2017 Direct was the first major Direct after the launch of the Switch, and it revealed a Yoshi game. And now this is the first major Direct after the launch of the Switch 2, and here you go. Here's the next Yoshi game. I guess that's just kind of the pattern they are upholding. Then we had like a big chunk of third parties. It probably wasn't even that big of a chunk, but somehow it really felt like it. You know, that's one of the problems with this Direct, is just like there was a lot of like third party fluff and like coming off of the Mario stuff and then just like boo, just like nose diving straight into this boring third party stuff I've never even heard of. It was a bit of a bummer. But then we got a taste of Tomodachi Life, and it looks cool. It looks funny. I haven't played the original, but this one looks funny. It looks good. I just don't know why they announced it so long ago. Like, it's gonna be like a year between reveal and release for this. I don't really get it. It doesn't seem like that kind of game, but yeah, it's coming next year, spring next year. Okay. And there was a trailer for Hades 2, and the animation was really cool. Really, really amazingly cool. But yeah, it turns out it's a timed console exclusive on Switch. It's coming to PC and Switch, and I don't know when it's going to come to other consoles. You could definitely call that a win for Nintendo, but I do feel like that is probably not helping, I don't know, not helping people not be annoyed at them. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just a recipe for making all the other console people mad, but whatever. Then they touched briefly on Kirby Air Riders, talked about how you can use Amiibo as figure players, which I suppose we should have expected. That's a total Smash thing. It's a total Sakurai thing. And they revealed some Kirby Air Riders Amiibo, which look really cool. And you can like swap them. That's really neat. It makes me wish almost that Amiibo were like a bigger thing and there were like more of these and we could swap them, but it's really just the two, and you can swap them back and forth. But it's a really cool idea. And they announced another Direct because Sakurai is a madman. So yeah, apparently we're gonna get another Kirby Air Riders Direct soon. We got another trailer for Age of Imprisonment, and you know, it looks cool. They all look cool. I'm sure the game is gonna be cool. I mean, definitely the best parts were release date was number 2. Nice to finally have a release date. For this year, it didn't get delayed. That's nice. Nothing ended up getting delayed. Best part though, number 1, is that cool Korok. Who's that? Cool little Korok character who fights, who isn't Hestu. I'm there. This just became my favorite Zelda character ever, and I've only seen a couple of seconds. We got a reveal for a remake of Dragon Quest VII. I do have to say, like, I don't follow this series. I mean, there's a lot of series that I don't follow, but it just feels like there's so many remakes. I just can't even, I can't keep track. I can't keep up. I don't even know what has, apparently this one has already been remade. There's already a remake on the 3DS, and this is another newer remake. I don't know. I like the art style, though. I think it's cool. It's weird. It's like they took the original art and they kind of just like translated it to 3D, but it ends up looking kind of weird, and everybody has like really big heads and faces. And I like it, though. It's so strange, but it's unique. And yeah, I was saying this on the stream, how just like I will take weird and unique over generic any day, you know? And Akira Toriyama style art, like it already has its own particular look about it, and I love that. But then here, seeing it like kind of weirded in another way, I think it's cool. I think the game overall looks pretty charming. Then they revealed Virtual Boy games coming to NSO, along with a Virtual Boy accessory that lets you virtually play Virtual Boy games. And we're gonna talk about that later, because it's so weird. Stardew Valley Switch 2 Edition, a very cool announcement. It's coming with 4-player split screen. It's going to use game share, so only one person needs to own the game for everybody to play it. And then, of course, mouse controls. I mostly bring it up just to say I really wonder, like, is this a standalone purchase? Is there going to be like a retail purchase? Is there an upgrade path? This doesn't seem like the kind of thing that Eric Barone would charge for. You know, like, updates have all just been free, like, forever. So I'm like, is this gonna be a, like, it's Switch 2 Edition. That usually means a standalone release that you can pay to upgrade. But there have been other Switch 2 Editions, at least 1 or 2, that were either free or very, very cheap to upgrade. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that turns out. Suika Game Planet. It's a little funny to bring this up, but you know, like that game, Suika Game, was really popular for like a bit, and I actually ended up playing one of like the mobile knockoffs. A good amount. It's actually really fun, and you know what? I'm weirdly excited for this one here. These games are fun, but they're like so frustrating because you just run out of places to drop your fruit, but like now you can drop it from the outside. I feel like that's gonna be so much easier to like find a place to drop some. I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe it's harder in its own ways, but like, I think I'm actually kind of excited to play this. Then we had a trailer for Metroid Prime 4. Cannot say a thing. Cannot say a single thing. I gotta save it. I gotta say it. The only thing I will say... Okay, I have two things I will say. One, release date. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, it feels good. It feels really good to finally have a date. And then that amiibo is really cool. All of those amiibo are really cool. The, I'm kind of, I just want the bike one. I don't know. The bike one is really cool. I don't have a lot of money to spend on more amiibo. So I'm kind of like, do I skip out on the other two and just go for the bike? Or do I have to get all the amiibo because it's Metroid? And of course I have to have all the Metroid amiibo. Really having a hard time figuring that the two sides of my brain kind of at war right now. Then they revealed DK Bonanza DLC, which I have some conflicted feelings about, but that's actually probably going to be a main channel video. I want to talk about their reveals for DK Bonanza and Pokemon Legends ZA DLC in this direct. It's kind of spawned a bigger conversation, so I'll probably just leave that there. But it, you know, I could say on a surface level, it was like, oh, it was cool. It was cool that they had DK DLC to show us. And then, yeah, of course, Pokemon, it also had a new trailer and its own DLC announcement. The trailer, yeah, I don't know. I is it like annoying that I keep bringing it up, that it feels like there's something this game is hiding? I don't know. It just kind of felt like, okay, it's kind of now or never. The game comes out so soon. If there's going to be they've not shown us the whole game. They just every single new trailer. It's like, hey, what do you do during the day? What does it actually look like when you're out there? What do the wild areas look like? Are they literally just city streets with Pokemon in them? Or like, are there actual places where it feels right to go catch Pokemon? What does a day look like? And they just keep not telling us, and the game comes out like a month. And they didn't show us now, and I'm starting to wonder if there is anything they're hiding, or if, like, I don't know, we've basically seen the whole game. I don't know. Whatever. Then we got a reveal for Pokopia. Weird. Definitely weird. Some sort of like Dragon Quest builders kind of thing. But it's Pokemon. That is certainly a whole topic in and of itself. It was an interesting reveal though, and pretty cool. I think it looks pretty neat. Then I am getting really lucky here. You know, I've probably said it before, but like, I don't have an absolute ton of different gaming interests right now. Like, they're kind of boiling down, and right now it's like the main Nintendo stuff, and then beyond that it's like Resident Evil and FromSoft. Those are like my biggest things, and like the last two Nintendo Directs have just given like extra focus on these two things. In April it was Elden Ring and it was Duskbloods, and then here the Direct practically closes out with Resident Evil Requiem coming to Switch too. So that's really cool. I'm really happy to see that. And they're putting 7 and 8 on there as well. 7, 8, and 9. Same day. I love the confidence. I absolutely love it. With Nintendo, we're always wondering, like, oh, like, are they gonna release like the earlier game before the release of the next game so that people can play? Would they want to release them that close together? Maybe they don't want to cannibalize sales. Capcom is just like, nah, just do it. Just throw it on there. Same exact day, Resident Evil 9 hits Switch 2. 7 and 8 are also going to be there. Is that, well, what if people buy 7 and 8 and that makes them not buy 9? It doesn't matter. They're just all there. And I love it, and it's great. I probably won't play Requiem on Switch 2, at least not the first time. I'd rather have it with like the, you know, the better performance and visuals and stuff. I'm going to be playing on a TV anyway. But I love knowing that the option is there if it ends up being very, I mean, you know, they're all pretty replayable. So like, I love the idea of maybe potentially having 7 or 8 on my Switch 2 at some point. I guess I haven't decided yet. And then the presentation ended with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. And, this is where I have to be careful because like I know that like Fire Emblem it's a good series. I really loved Three Houses. It's got fans. It's not the biggest series, but it's also not the smallest series. You know, like I don't want to be a hypocrite. If they ended a direct with a reveal for a 2D Metroid, I'd be like, oh wow, it's a great way to end a direct, even though that's only going to sell like a couple million units, you know, especially compared to Mario or Pokemon or whatever. It's a valid game, and it's probably going to be good. I'm sure it's going to be good. It's just, I do have to wonder if it was the right choice for the end of this direct here. And I'm trying to put my personal thoughts aside. And if you do want my personal thoughts here, I'm a little iffy on this. Like I said, I loved Three Houses, but I did not love Engage. And a part of the problem was just its overall, like kind of, I don't know, more like over the top and cartoony style. And this kind of seems to be following along with that. Three Houses was at least a little bit more, I don't know, it just had like a more serious, high fantasy kind of feel to it. So I don't know quite how I feel about how this game looks. But I also don't know, and again, that's not exactly the point. So now is where I get to the overall thoughts about the Direct. It's a hard situation because it's one of those things where if you look at every individual announcement, there was a really good amount of stuff here. Like, there really was. Like, that's a good amount of brand new games. Yeah, you've got Fire Emblem, you've got Pokopia. Like, I don't know exactly how big that game's gonna end up being, but I could see it doing pretty darn well. You know, new trailers and release dates, Age of Imprisonment, Metroid Prime, a whole bunch of Amiibo were announced here, all the Mario Anniversary stuff, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, we got a new Yoshi game, we got a new Mario Tennis game, we got the name and a teaser for the Mario Galaxy movie. That's a lot of stuff. That's really not a bad amount of stuff. And not every Direct has to be filled with only the biggest bombshells that appeal to the broadest audiences, you know? Like, really content-wise, it's not a problem to be just kind of, you know, just like pretty okay, pretty fine. The problem is that Nintendo really, really needed a win today. They needed a clear and easy victory. They are having a problem right now, a really big problem. The entire, you know, I'm always talking about the Nintendo discourse. There's a problem right now. And even on top of all of the issues with pricing and you know, people just kind of feeling like Nintendo was losing their way or whatever, Nintendo is also just not doing as good of a job as I think any of us expected of convincing people that they need to get a Switch 2 right now. Whereas like with the Switch, it was an immediately great value proposition, even just within the first year, even just between Zelda and Mario. That's so much amazing stuff to play. And then you also had like Splatoon and Xenoblade and all this other stuff. Whereas like the Switch 2, it came out swinging with Mario Kart and DK, but then like Mario Kart is proving to be very, very divisive. A lot of people are kind of souring on it, and Nintendo is not properly supporting it. And so it's just like another one of those things bringing the whole conversation down. And we're like, okay, what else is there for this year? And there are other games coming this year, but some of the most notable ones are cross-gen releases. So like, yeah, there will be a lot of people who buy a Switch 2 for Pokemon Legends ZA. Like, absolutely, don't get me wrong, they're gonna sell plenty, but like, it's not gonna be all of them. You know, it's not gonna be all of the people that it could be. I don't know. It's just, they needed something better than this purely because of the timing. This was their chance to give us at least one big hitter for 2026. Something to get us just like absolutely, completely stoked going into 2026, getting people just like, okay, I'm almost ready. Once this big new game comes out, I'm gonna finally get a Switch 2. I don't know, none of these games were really it, you know, like Mario Tennis is fine. It'll sell some millions of copies or whatever, but like, it's not gonna move systems. Pokopia, again, maybe it'll end up being a big thing, but right now we barely even know what it is, so we're not really sure. And then yeah, just like, it's a Direct that feels kind of underwhelming. And then we're like, all right, but like, it's time for the one more thing. What's the one more thing? And it's Fire Emblem. And again, nothing wrong with Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem's cool. It's probably going to be maybe it'll be the best Fire Emblem game ever. I don't know. It's just not the most broadly appealing game. It's a very predictable series, you know, like they come out really regularly, and maybe that's another thing that kind of robbed this of a little bit of the magic. It's just kind of like, oh, well, yeah, we expected Fire Emblem to pop up at some point. I don't know. Is this making sense? It's just between their public image and the perceived value proposition of the Switch 2 as it currently is. This was the time to deliver, and they just didn't really deliver. They gave us a good direct. You know, it was good, but it was like, okay, well, you really have to talk about the entertainment value. As always, you know, I'm always going to look at a direct like this. It comes down to the games on one side, what was announced, and then just how fun was it to watch. And it's funny that the how fun was it to watch matters that much. The games should be the only thing that matters, and yet, like, I don't know, people's like energy, their spirit coming away from the presentation, it seems to really matter. It has a big effect on the whole conversation. And this direct was just too long. Like, it was an hour long. It was a little over an hour. And that initially, it was like, oh man, they must have a whole lot to show. Because like in recent, that's the other thing. The Switch generation, its directs were so good. Like almost every major direct during the Switch generation, it was just banger after banger after banger. So many bombshell announcements, and they were so entertaining, and they weren't full of fluff. You know, they weren't full of all this like worthless stuff. It just, they were snappy, and they always felt fun, and you would end feeling like it was just this crazy buffet of announcements. And so like, where's that? This was not that. It was an hour long, so we thought, oh, they must have a lot to announce. But like, no, they could have easily shaved off 15 minutes of that direct, or split it off into a separate, another like partner direct or something. But like, it was too long. It's the same problem that you get with like Game Awards or Summer Game Fest, where you look at all of the announcements and you go, no, it really did reveal a lot of stuff. It's just that it was so long, and it made me sit through so much stuff I didn't care about that it felt like it was a bad show. That's kind of what's happening here. A lot of good announcements, but overall, just the quality of the presentation just wasn't there. And you add that on top of everything, and you add in some of the weirdness in here, you know, like, oh, the DLC problem. Oh, so they're giving us DK DLC, and it looks like they just like held it back from the base game so they could sell it to us right after launch. And then Pokemon, they're announcing DLC before the game even comes out, and they announced Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, but they're $40 each, and the whole package is $70. So it's like, it's just even more. The Virtual Boy, again, talk about the whole thing later, but like, oh, this stupid peripheral is $100. It's just like, it's already so much. And they've just put more fuel on the fire while simultaneously just not delivering. It's just, I don't know. They kind of just messed it up in so many different ways. And just wasn't the time to do that. So it's a bit of a bummer. There's always next year. There's always, you know, maybe they'll do another one in February. But now it's just like, well, we've been waiting for this one. You know, kind of waiting for this one to reinvigorate the Nintendo sphere. Give us some new stuff to be excited about. I thought that would be this. But now it's like, okay, well, we'll just wait 6 months or whatever. Okay, fine. We'll see. But I have talked long enough, and I have too many other videos to do, so I'm going to go off and start doing those. Thank you for watching. I love you dearly. Thank you to anyone who joined me during the stream this morning. I really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. See you later.